I'm Patrick Heffernan, and I'm here today with Angela Lambert to talk about 2026. So, Angela, what are you most excited about researching, diving deeper into in the infrastructure portfolio this coming year?
Well, I think there's probably three topics that I'm looking forward to the most in IT infrastructure as we start heading into 2026. So, of course, first we have to talk about AI, right?
Of course.
And how the adoption of AI is happening on-prem. It's been slower than I think many have anticipated over the last year or so. And I think going into 2026, we're going to see more about making AI more accessible on-prem. There's going to be new form factors and ways that that's going to happen. So we're looking forward to covering that. Then there's kind of the rest of the IT infrastructure, right, of business going on as usual. And a lot of that boils down to hybrid cloud. And we'll be looking a lot at automation as well as how customers are reevaluating their on-prem landscapes. And there's a number of drivers that are impacting the types of infrastructure that buyers want to purchase. Which brings us to my third research area, which is what the customers are saying. So that's always my favorite part of planning the portfolio for the coming year, and that's diving into our customer research on their top concerns and their overall strategies coming up for this year and the following 2 years as well. So that's going to really dive deep on the first 2 points that I mentioned.
And on the first point around infrastructure and on-prem, does that include like physical AI and edge and devices? Like sort of how does that fit into the infrastructure picture?
Absolutely. I think that plays a huge role, and I think that edge is really an area where we may see more AI adoption, especially because I think that's something that can be more accessible in terms of the investment, and also the ROI potential is really strong in some particular use cases around manufacturing, for example, being one.
Right. And when you think about what drives your research overall, how much of it is driven by questions that you get from the companies that you're covering, and how much is driven by questions that come from the clients that you're talking to, the customers, and then how much comes from ecosystem partners to the companies that you're covering?
Well, I think the way I see it is, two really big drivers, right? So there's the questions that come from vendors and partners in the space are often driven by the loudest trends you hear about in the market. So that's always going to be an important driver in our portfolio. But on the other hand, everyone needs to keep their businesses running. There's very mature businesses within IT infrastructure that are ripe for optimization. And we get a lot of questions about those things too, like managed services and how customers, what they want, but also how vendors can better deliver on those. So we see just as much question on the existing portfolio as we do on some of the top trend topics.
Excellent, thanks. And now let's pivot to predictions. So I would love to say give me your top 10, but why don't we restrict it just to a few? What are some of the things you anticipate we're going to see change in the infrastructure space in 2026?
Sure. So I think I hinted at one in some of the AI conversation, but I think that new form factors, and by new form factors I mean doing AI without needing a huge investment in liquid cooling, is going to help more enterprises be able to adopt AI. So we'll be seeing a proliferation of use cases, and many of those will be edge related. So that's going to be a big one we're tracking. Then on the hybrid cloud side, I think in the last year, there's been a bit of a pause and reflection on how customers want to move forward with modernizing their data centers. Much of that is driven by whether or not they want to continue working with VMware or find other alternatives. I think we will see more customers making decisions in 2026 and starting to plan out their journeys, whether that's modernizing their data center, moving to workloads to public cloud, combinations of those. So that's something also that we're going to be seeing a lot of activity on.
And when you said, so that, to me, I see a distinction between modernization, which is just sort of bringing things up to speed, getting the most out of what you have, and then transformation, which is taking a technology and changing your business model or changing, making a dramatic change to what you're actually doing and what the outcomes are going to be. When you think about in the infrastructure space, what rough percentages, or where would you say most of the revenue is going to happen for the infrastructure players? Is it going to be around modernization, or is it going to be around transformation?
I think that's a tricky question, but I think across customer types we're going to see a lot of differences, and I wouldn't specify it to industries or company sizes per se, but those who are really trying to make the most of what they have, or deal with the restrictions of what they have, are really more in that modernization space where new infrastructure can help them consolidate significantly and be more efficient. Then we'll see another class of customers that is probably the smaller group that's going down a different journey of changing how their business is actually going to operate.
Right. So then what does it say if you put all of that together? And I know at the beginning you talked a little bit about where the demand is going to be for AI and sort of how that ties to liquid cooling and the expense of that. But so when you think about where we'll be with respect to AI demand in the end of 2026 and how that relates to infrastructure, do you see, because we're already starting to see where there are pockets of sort of uncertainty about how much more enterprises are going to invest in AI. Do you see that changing over 2026? Do you see an acceleration in terms of adoption and demand, or do you think we're going to go into a little bit of a cooling off period?
I think our TBR's forecast, where we look at AI accelerated servers, I think we'll see a shift in mix where there is indeed more enterprise adoption, and we will absolutely be focusing our forecast on looking at the mix of what has been very predominantly CSP or NeoCloud led GPU adoption. That mix is actually going to start to shift in somewhat of a material way. Obviously, those other companies are not slowing down their investments, but there will certainly be increased investments with enterprise.
Okay, last question then on predictions. I have to ask, because at TBR we focus on the individual companies and we understand the market based on what those individual companies are doing. So if you had to say, we'll just pick the leaders, we're not going to pick the laggers, not going to single them out this time, but who at the end of 2026 are you going to say had the best year?
Ooh, wow. Okay. Well, as part of our coverage, we, in addition to IT infrastructure, look at the components of that as well. So we will see some great things out of the silicon providers, NVIDIA. Less on the data center side, also AMD will have a good year. I think that on the infrastructure side, we will see a great year from Dell Technologies. We'll see a great year from HP and Supermicro as well.
Okay. And those are three companies that I know are very active in partnering across the ecosystem. So their success then lends itself to, or can be a catalyst for success among their ecosystem partners. So it's going to be a crazy year.
It will be. Looking forward to it.
So am I. Excellent. Thanks.